the Coltrane inspiration.
I have been in the audience at shows where he has people doubled over with laughter because he's a humorist as well as a musician, a bluesologist, all of the other things he describes himself to be.
So I wanted to contribute myself. I was writing down and putting all the categories together. I ain't got no money, I ain't got no job blues, I ain't got no woman blues. And then I said, wait a minute. See, I don't want to waste no categories. I ain't got no money blues, I ain't got no job blues, I ain't got no woman blues. Hell, them the same thing. Because if I could get me a job, I could make me some money, I could call me a lady. I'd be doing a whole bunch better.
He had a way of making people laugh at the actuality. I don't even call it reality. He made people laugh at actuality. And this is what's happening. When it comes down to Gil Scott-Heron and humor, it's just a reflection of how we kick it as people. You know, coming from the down south area when he was young, number one, you know, everything isn't straight up and down like of the cold north. So there's always a smile, there's always a joke or two with a plate of food and then saying something serious to tell you to watch your back. It comes out of those elements. I mean, the blues isn't all sad.
You know, but when you move somewhere, the first thing that you try to do is get in touch with the music, you know, find out where the music is you're going to be grooving on. So I set the radio up, turned all the way down to the right, you know, over there where they keep the black people's music. That's just a coincidence. Everywhere you go, we'd be over in this corner here. You know, somewhere north of 13, you'll find. You know, turn over there. And I couldn't find no black music. I could not find the blues. I was wondering what the hell was going on. I said, well, you know, I come from Jackson, Tennessee, and this is New York. Maybe I need a longer radio. Turned B.B. King, I knew it was right over there, over on the other side of 16. So I went out in the street, and I run into one of the brothers on the avenue, and I said, brother, look here, well, what's happening? Where can I find the blues? He said, well, hell, you don't have to do nothing, just stand here.
Survival kits on wax, that's a term that Gil used.
Not my expression. Not. Well, I mean, yeah. Well, I said it.
What would happen to us when we'd be playing gigs and, you know, we'd be in different cities and people would come up to us and say, you know, I have to listen to this one song before I go to work in the morning. Or I have to listen to this one song before I get my day started.
May not have the glitter or the glamour of Italy. It may not have the history or the intrigue of Bombay. But when it comes to making music and sure not making news, or people who just don't make sense and people making do, seems a mass of contradictions pulling different ways between who have come and go and the ones who got to stay. It's a mass of irony for all the world to see. It's the nation's capital, it's Washington, D.C.
Information is what we needed most of all, you know. We needed some honest insight and information. That's what we tried to deliver in our poetry and our songs. This was just as honest as we could be.
White folks discovered Africa. They claimed it fair and square. Cecil Rhodes couldn't have been robbing nobody because, hell, there wasn't nobody there. And white folks brought all the civilization because there wasn't none around. How could the folks be civilized when wasn't nobody writing nothing down?
The lineage of spoken word and artists actually coming out and rhyming about their surroundings is nothing new.
The oral tradition is something that is instinctively valuable to us. We come from that tradition from longer than we can remember.
You have to go all the way back to the African griots and just the way that people used to pass code in the plantations of the South in America.
And still we are victims of word games. Semantics is always a bitch. Places once referred to as underdeveloped are now called mineral rich.
The griot is the keeper of the information, the keeper of the facts, the keeper of the tradition and the family stories.
I didn't come to it by saying, you know, let me look at, you know, algebra, baseball, you know, griot, that's what I want to be, you know.
Gil Scott-Heron is certainly a griot. He's just really got a gift for the right phrase with the meaningful intent.
The poetry and the different ideas that come from that are things that I already know. The value in it comes from being able to share it to people who do not know it.
I said it was the word. Tell me, brother, have you heard from Johannesburg?
By the time we did From South Africa to South Carolina, we had been a lot of places.
One was aware of, you know, Gil Scott-Heron making his rounds, and Johannesburg was a big record that a lot of the college students knew.
They tell me that our brothers are over there hard to find a man. And we don't know for sure because the news we get is unreliable, man.
The thing about Gil Scott-Heron being a product of the Black Power era, you know, he transcended that by bringing in the worldly discussion. You know, if you're going to talk about Johannesburg, and most people, you know, don't know anything outside Pittsburgh, or, you know, you're bringing the worldly discussion that Malcolm X brought to the table.
I found out about South Africa later than I should have, but I thought something needed to be said about the way them people were being treated over there, that you can't say nothing about your own if you don't say nothing about this, because they're doing so much worse than you are. You have a responsibility as a person to speak on things that ain't being done right.
When Gil says in Johannesburg at the end that New York is like Johannesburg, D.C. is like Johannesburg, L.A. is like Johannesburg, that's really the point of the song as far as I'm concerned. The point is that we can't look at somebody 8,000 miles away and say, oh, well, that's happening to them, but it's not happening to us. If it's happening to them, it is happening to us.
Our favorite letter in the alphabet was I. I got this problem, I got that problem, I got the blues, I got to get some money. This was no advance on brotherhood.
I hate it when the blood starts flowing, but I'm glad to see resistance. Go ahead, somebody tell me what's the word. Tell me, brother, have you heard from Johannesburg?
In 1998, we were invited to go to Johannesburg, and I was thinking, oh, what a great opportunity, because I used to get really emotional when we did that song, and when at the end when he says, what's the word, Johannesburg, and we go into Johannesburg, and I'm like, oh God, this is it, you know, this is like the crowning moment for this song. And we go, what's the word? And everybody goes, I don't know, what is the word? You know, because the song had been banned.
Somebody tell me what's the word? Johannesburg. What's the word? Johannesburg. What's the word? Johannesburg. What's the word? Johannesburg.
What happened to protest and rage?
I think white folks hate it.
Whatever happened to the protests and the rage? Whatever happened to the voices of the same?
There's a certain attrition that kind of naturally occurs as people are able to achieve what was one of the ultimate points of the civil rights movement and even the Black Power movement, which is, you know, African Americans having access to this notion of the American dream, or, you know, the good life.
I mean, if all we wanted to be was black, hell, we was that. We could have stopped. We wanted to be Americans. That's what it was. Everybody wanted to be the same. So now we got it. Now that you got what you want, you don't want what you got.
Protest and rage has taken a back seat to things, to material goods. Protest and rage has taken a back seat to basketball players up and down the court and football players up and down the field and actors on TV.
We lost the focus on issues and started to concentrate on the tool as opposed to the goal.
Well, what happened to black music as a social message is that once it was appropriated by record companies, and they thought they could put soul and culture into a package, into a box, and then regurgitate it right back out to the masses, then it was limited to that, and it didn't transcend, you know, the original meaning that spawned it in the first place.
I never really had a problem with disco, but I had a problem with the type of thinking that said that it's got to be this.